Did we watch it at all? I know I didn't. I caught highlights on Twitter, I guess, if that counts as watching it.
I didn't watch my friend Earl's wedding. I'm watching the royal wedding.
My friend Earl, is this Earl a mechanic? Who is Earl?
Earl. I got an invite. I sent that shit back.
Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson. We hope that you had a great weekend. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the playoff games of the weekend, both Eastern Conference and Western Conference. But before we get started into all that, I'm joined here by Complex Sports Editor, Mr. Adam Caparell. Adam, no black on. That's me and Gil today. So you want some money over the weekend?
I mean, we kind of have some black underneath, but, you know.
Okay, staying very much on brand. Why did he try to flash us just now? This is,
I mean, that's better than have the outfits I seen this weekend where you got the jacket with just chest out.
Oh, I'm not PJ Tucker, so yeah.
Oh, he wore that?
Yes.
You knew next out of Caparell is Mr. Gilbert Arenas. Gil, you knew PJ Tucker wore that. You just wanted to air him out real quick? Oh man, I got a lot waiting for you.
I've seen it like Little Pump? Little Pump did the same thing. Like, if you're gonna do it, at least have the six pack to go with the shirt off. Like, when did that become a fad?
Well, remember, Russell did it early on in the playoffs, but I imagine that Russell probably has a six pack.
He has a body.
He might. But okay, that's a great segue. Your guy PJ Tucker, because of course we're going to talk about last night's Western Conference Finals matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. The Golden State Warriors humiliated the Houston Rockets 126-85 in Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead in the Western Conference Finals. Stephen Curry exploded for 35 points, 13 for 23 from the field, 5 for 12 from three-point line, and he was heard telling the Oracle Arena crowd, "This is my fucking house." If you're a two-time NBA MVP and you've had plenty of questions throughout this postseason, it's good to let off some steam, especially as you struggled throughout this Western Conference Finals. KD chipped in with 25 points, Draymond 10 points and 17 rebounds. On the flip side, the Houston Rockets struggled. James Harden 20 points, CP 13 points, 10 rebounds, and only 4 assists. The Rockets had 19 turnovers compared to the Golden State Warriors' 8 turnovers. Gilbert, I mentioned a little bit that Stephen Curry has struggled this series. People have questioned whether or not he's injured, as you give you this look. How was he able to bounce back in Game 3 and explode for 35?
Struggled. I don't struggled to win.
Listen, we're comparing Steph to Steph, but they said he struggled.
Game 1, shot 53% from the field.
What's the total?
8 for 15, 18 points, 1 for 5 from the 3. Second game, 16 points, 1 for 8 for the 3. So if you think about their game plan for Steph, take away his three-point shot, make him a driver.
Right.
Because with Steph, his confidence like skyrockets
with the three-pointer.
With the three-pointer. So, today, he has a great game because he finally got open at the 3 and those shots went in.
Yeah.
First 2 games, he wasn't getting the easy looks from the 3,
right,
to get himself going. But he was playing well, but it wasn't the Steph we know. We know the Steph shooting a long bomb, playing a whole little charade. He didn't get to do that on the road. Tonight he did. Yesterday he did.
And there was a lot of speculation of whether or not, Stephen Curry could be able to hold up with the Rockets going at him defensively. To start off the game, I think they got 4 straight buckets going at Stephen Curry, but in the second half, he scored 26 points. So obviously he wasn't bothered by the extra energy that he had to exert on the defensive end.
I mean, they're going at Steph because it's the easiest bucket that they can get.
Considering it's Clay and Draymond.
So they're attacking the weak part of, Golden State's defense. But at the end of the day, you're going against a guard, and he still has this back line back there that's going to help him at the rim.
Yeah.
But it's James Harden. James, you can take KD off the dribble, you can take Draymond off the dribble, you can take whoever you want off the dribble. Mm-hmm. What is the difference? If you can get your shot anytime you want, it doesn't matter if you do pick and roll and get Steph on you or not. You're still going to do what you're going to do. So
you're saying it's just a waste of time?
It's a waste. It's a waste of. You're just wasting the time.
Yeah,
that's what you're really doing.
That makes sense.
Like, I'd rather take KD off the dribble because he is the biggest point of their offense.
And then you get to the bucket.
And you get to the bucket and Steph is there. Then taking Steph off the bucket and then now you're missing 15 layups. Like, he probably missed at least 8
lot of layups
today because those extra arms is in his way. So I'd rather take the big guy off and blow past him, and I'm facing a guard.
Yeah, a guy that we didn't expect to show up for the Golden State Warriors, Kevon Looney, played pretty well as far as interior presence during last night's game. Cap, what do you think helped Stephen Curry go off in Game 3 to kind of just be his usual self?
I mean, the home crowd, you talk about the energy that the home crowd provides players. And you had a great breakdown in the green room, too, about, the discrepancy of road versus home, and about how seemingly 3 quick possessions of a team like the Rockets, when they're missing their 3-pointers, can swing momentum and energy and just jazz up a home squad like the Warriors in ways that you never really imagined. So a quick 6 or 7 point swing with some missed shots here and there can feel like a 20-point deficit in the minds of the road team. So, I mean, I think obviously Steph being home, we question whether or not he's healthy.
Yeah.
I would say he doesn't look like 100% healthy, but he looked a little bit more mobile today. Yeah. Definitely had more energy. And yes, when he got popping off a little bit in the third quarter when he was hitting 7 in a row, he was gassed up big time and obviously was feeling it a little bit. So I think back being home and the fact that the Rockets, even though they kind of played some decent defense in the first quarter, and then the wheels just fell off in the second quarter and kind of opened things up for Steph. So, yeah, a few things here and there. Defensively, Rockets were not particularly good, but being back home, feeding off their energy big time, I think is what you saw in the third quarter from Steph.
The Warriors were up by as much as 41 points in Game 3. Listen, if you're losing by 41 points, just fight everybody on the court. You get a victory
But you remember I said it. I said it after Houston won Game 2.
Yeah.
I said, if you think you're going to go down to Golden State and shoot that many threes, you're going to get your ass beat. And that's what happened.
What makes you say that? Why is it like that?
Because Golden State is a great home defensive team.
Yeah.
And they thrive. When in the playoffs, you thrive off your home crowd. So if you're Houston and you're shooting 46 threes and you're going to go 13 for 43, you're getting your ass whooped because every shot you miss and every shot they make seems like it just seems more than like, so you miss, if I go shoot a 2, you come down think you're going to silence me with a fadeaway 3. This is not your home crowd. So my crowd don't give 2 shits about that. A foul on a missed dunk, my crowd gets excited. So the energy stays high on every shot I take. So every shot you miss, it just seems like we're just going to be blowing you guys. So you can miss 3 shots in a row, down 2, but because of the crowd is so excited, it makes it seem like you're down 10, 15 points. And then from there, it's just a spiral. So on the road, if you're on the road, you need to get to the free throw line, get easier buckets at the basket instead of just flinging threes up there.
Yeah, he did a much better job explaining it than I did. So.
After last night's game, Draymond kind of alluded to they felt threatened after they lost in Game 2. He's been very open and honest about his performance and just his mindset during this series. He said he was too amped in Game 2. He got that quick technical on James Harden, I believe 67 seconds into the game. And so obviously Golden State felt threatened and wanted to come out and put their imprint on this series so far. But Gil, I tell people all the time, you're a genius at this basketball stuff and being able to talk about it. You mentioned that the Golden State Warriors on the road like to play circus basketball. Mm-hmm. They got home and only had 8 turnovers during last night's game. So why do you think they play such circus basketball?
It's your crowd. It's the crowds are important because it's like, let's just say I did miss 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And then the crowd standing up trying to get you back. That makes it seem like you on a heater.
Right.
So now the confidence that you didn't have, you actually have. When you're on the road and you miss a few shots, it starts like you can feel it. Like, oh shit, I don't want to miss the net. Right. You start thinking about it. At home, every shot is like you have memory loss, short-term memory loss. Like,
whatever, I'll make the next one.
You won't think you're down, you missed 16 in a row, because the next shot, the crowd is so excited, like,
Forget about all the misses.
And then you got every player in there, like every player's doing their little antics, so it seems like everybody's on fire now.
Another person that seems to have short-term memory loss when it comes to taking jumpers is friend of the show, non-friend of the show, Mr. Swaggy P, Nick Young. And he had an outfit that we have to judge prior to Game 3 last night, and this is fire-fit. Now, Nick Young showed up to Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals wearing a particularly interesting outfit, but it was the pair of kicks that he had in his hands that, Gilbert, you seem to be very fond of and understand what those are. Gil, those are a special pair of Adidas Gil Zeros that only 1,000 were made, according to Darren Rovell of ESPN. So, did he steal those from you?
You know what? Listen. Nick has stole a lot of shoes in his lifetime from my closet. Mm-hmm. So I can't say if those are mine or he reordered them. But I'm pretty sure he stole them.
You're pretty sure he stole them?
I'm pretty sure he stole them.
I have a feeling that he stole them, considering that Darren Rovell said only 1,000 pairs were made. I was getting text messages left and right about, Gil has to talk about Nick Young wearing the Benihana Gil Zeros on the court.
Because the problem with Nick wearing them in today's game and who he is as a player.
You seem frustrated.
Kind of frustrates me.
Why?
Because it's the hibachi. It's the hibachi shoe. He played 17 minutes. Took 3 shots. No. You put on the regular ones that they sold in the store. You don't put on the hibachis, man. Like 17 minutes, 17 shots. That's what you're supposed to do in those shoes.
A shot per minute.
A shot per minute in those shoes. This is the hibachis. You're supposed to like it. When you put them on, the whole fucking arena knew what was about to happen. 3 shots is not what they expect.
Gil, if he takes 17 shots in 17 minutes, it'd be a good chance he's not playing game 4.
Or 5, or 6, or 7, or maybe ever again.
Doesn't matter. I did what I was supposed to do in those shoes. Those shoes automatic had him heated up.
Oh, he was already ready to go.
He was already ready.
Well, kind of like you. We saw that one awful 3 from the wing with about a minute to go.
Yeah.
You were yelling at him for taking.
Yeah, because it was a stupid-ass 3. Like, come on.
But to his credit, early in the game, he badly missed a 3-point attempt, came right back down and hit another 3-pointer that put the Warriors up a good amount heading to a break.
See, this is what I always say. If your whole team is full of 3-point shooters, that means the game plan is take away 3.
Yeah.
Drive the ball because no one's going to be there because they're expecting you to drive and pass out to the 3. And you wonder why KD fucking has layup after layup after layup. Livingston has dunk after dunk after dunk because there's nobody back there to fucking challenge anything because everyone's sitting at the 3-point line.
Now, of course, we gotta get the fire flame emojis because we're doing fire fit. But
5 for the shoes.
Of course, I knew it. I knew he's gonna give 5 emojis.
1.5 for the performance.
Okay, what about the rest of the fit?
Okay.
He had the Hellraiser pants on. What do you think of?
I'm going to give 4 just because you have too many references for my liking. Like you have the Hellraiser pants or shorts, whatever we're going to call them, and also you have your sneakers. So it's like I want you to have one statement piece, not 2.
Okay.
So pick it. Pick your poison.
That's very much on brand.
And that's the problem. Hellraiser, hibachi didn't raise no hell.
That's a good point.
Gil, I got a hypothetical for you. If your boy PJ Tucker wears them,
Tucker better not put the fuck out there. If he would have had him on for game 2, I'd have been like, see, that's why he was balling, because he had them on.
So you saying PJ Tucker should wear those for game 4? Maybe bounce back from 6 points?
Unless he has like 20, 30, he can wear them all he wants.
You better say.
But if he do what he did tonight, 5 points?
6 points.
2 threes then.
6 points.
I'm pretty sure 2 threes, right?
6 points. Yeah, but we have to look forward to tonight's matchup. It's Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals as the Cleveland Cavaliers look to even up the series against the Boston Celtics. They got an impressive victory over the weekend, 116-86 at home. On Saturday, the Cavs jumped out early, never trailed, and led by as much as 30 points. LeBron James had 27 points, 12 assists. LeBron just doing what LeBron does. He's been a beast throughout this series so far. But several other players chipped in and added into the action. 6 Cavaliers players scored in double digits, which is a surprising thing, not just this playoffs, but the entire season so far. But Celtics big man Al Horford had this to say about Boston's team defense and how they struggled. He was quoted as saying, "There's a lot of breakdowns defensively for our group. We didn't have the first 2 games. It's something that we need to address to be better Monday if we want to have some sort of chance of winning." Boston just stalled out, didn't have a great game defensively. Terry Rozier also followed things up by saying, "We need to get our butts whooped, come back to reality and take care of business on Monday." Jaylen Brown took things a step further with his quote and kind of put the onus upon himself of why they lost Game 3 in Cleveland. He was quoted as saying, "I used Game 3 as fuel. I thought it was embarrassing, thought we came out the way we played, the way I performed, how not aggressive I was in the first half. I look at that as fuel to come out in Game 4 and be excited about it and be ready to play and ready to fight." What do we make of the Cavaliers getting a victory in Game 3?
I also said that they were going to get their ass whooped. Also said that for Game 3, and they got their ass bedaggled on.
Bedaggled on. I don't know. I like that. I don't know if that's the word, but I like it. I rock with it. Gil, you
How do you spell that?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Let's go to Webster's. No, he said, I don't know.
I don't know.
Gil, to your credit, you have been spot on of how the Cleveland Cavaliers will respond to certain games. Why were you correct in predicting their beatdown in Game 3?
Because they're a great home team.
Yeah.
They're an amazing home team. And the Boston, they're young. Mm-hmm. And if you look at their first 2 wins, because they don't have one dynamic star, one main star, they're more of a team defense, team offense. Yeah. If you look at Game 1, they had 3 players that scored 20 points. 4 players in double digits. Game 2, they had 6 players in double digits. I just didn't think that you're going to have 5 to 6 players in double digits on the road. I mean, the only way you're going to keep this up is if you have 5 to 6 players playing at a high level. That's going to be hard for 4 games to beat Cleveland. So I just didn't think that they were going to squeeze out a win. And I don't think they're going to squeeze out a win in Ohio.
And Marcus Morris, who people have coined as the LeBron stopper, whatever the hell that means, said he did a shit job against LeBron James in Game 3. And it might have been this entire series because LeBron has been going off. Other Cavaliers haven't stepped up to the plate. Cap, if I'm not mistaken, the Boston Celtics have only won one road game this entire postseason so far in Philadelphia, the previous round. Do you think they can get a victory tonight and make the Cleveland Cavaliers desperate as they head into Game 4?
Game 4 is basically an elimination game for the Cavs.
Yeah, pretty
because
much.
the idea of them, of going down 3-1 and coming back in the series is basically impossible.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it happening. I mean, I think it's going to be another annihilation for the Cavs. We saw them actually play aggressive, intense defense for the first time in the series in Game 3 out of the gate. LeBron was playing absurd defense against Jaylen Brown and some awesome help defense. He went off against Marcus Morris, at least went off in the grand scheme of things. He had 11 points combined when Morris guarded him in Games 1 and 2. Yeah. He had 12 for Game 3. And then obviously he got a ton of help from Korver, Hill, and JR. So everything clicked for the Cavs. Nothing clicked for the Celtics. I don't expect the Celtics to shoot the same shitty way they did in Game 3 and Game 4. But still, I mean, Cavs are insanely desperate. They're at home. Gil's talked about this like a ton of times over the year about how good of a home team they are. They're going to blow the doors off the Celtics.
You know the funniest thing about the Morrison, he scored 11 points combined.
Marcus Morris, the LeBron stopper, okay?
Like, so you telling me when that motherfucker had that triple-double, you was nowhere to be found, huh? When he had 40, there was nowhere to, like, come the fuck on. Like, if you're the LeBron stopper and the motherfucker's on fire and you somehow do not guard him at all to stop him, shut up.
Listen,
like,
I'm with you.
Agreed.
I'm with you.
I mean, I think that the turnaround for the Cavs in this series was Hill.
George Hill.
Be aggressive. I don't need you out here trying to make this team better. Just go out there, shoot shots. I don't give a shit how you shoot them. Just be a threat on offense. And the fact that he took, 12 shots?
Yeah. And also,
that's better than the 3, you know?
Right, and like you said, the Boston Celtics are a young team. Their first-round matchup, we saw this before. They were up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks, went to Milwaukee, squandered 2 games, and the series was tied heading back to Boston. Giannis is one thing, but dealing with LeBron James, you can't let him even up the series and go to Boston.
Let him.
You saying he just going
to No, he's evening up the series.
Listen, at this point, we don't question LeBron's greatness and how he's going to show up. Will the supporting cast show up? Because, they shot atrociously this.
They're going to shoot that. I mean, that's what I said. It's one of those things where Game 2 is guaranteed in my mind for Cleveland.
Well, Game 4, but Game 2 in Cleveland. Yeah.
Game 4 in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Game 5, Boston is on a back burner.
Because the pressure's on them to win.
Because the pressure's on them now. And I don't think they win that one either. I always jump in the head. I'm always
Listen, this guy's been right so far.
I'm always
you're laying the 6.5 points in Game 3, correct? I'm sorry, Game 4.
Except it won't be a 30-point blowout. It'll be 10, 15.
So you say a 10-point win for the Cavaliers tonight?
Yeah, I think Cavs cover the 6.5 points.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it might be closer to a 10-point game. Something just tells me the Cleveland Cavaliers have never really been able to take good performances and stack them together. So
it's far
at home, they whooped everyone's ass at home.
They have played well at home.
But it's far-fetched to think that the Celtics, as good as they are with Brad Stevens, are going to get their ass kicked a second straight game that badly.
What does the coach have to do with these guys going out there actually performing?
Ooh, that's a great topic. That's a great topic.
All right, performing is one thing. Yes, you actually have to utilize the game plan and do what the coaches lay out for you successfully and execute. They didn't do that in Game 3, but do you not give credit to Brad Stevens for getting the Celtics this far? And again, scheming up amazing out-of-bounds plays and just becoming one of the best head coaches in the NBA?
Was he a great coach last year? Because he had a great team last year.
But what we have to stop doing...
He was number 1 last year.
But what we have to stop doing is acting like this team is not formidable and there's not good players on this team. Jaylen Brown, number 3 pick, I believe. Jason Tatum, number 3 pick. Al Horford,
technically
lottery
the
pick.
number 1 pick.
Technically, right. Yeah. Al Horford, lottery pick at some point. Terry Rozier, first round.
You have
good players.
Smart players who know how to play their game. And we seen it last year when their best player was a 5'7" guy. And you're like, how is this team playing this well off of this 5'7" star? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that was the reason they got rid of him. Like, we don't need him. We're all right.
You have Brad Stevens.
There you go. Fair point.
He's out there balling.
All comes full circle. Hey, they could have used him to chuck some threes on Saturday. It got pretty bad. But,
yeah,
all right.
definitely.
Switching gears completely here. Johnny Football is taking his talents up to the CFL, but is that the best thing for his career? So comeback season continues as the 2012 Heisman Trophy winner just signed a 2-year deal with the Hamilton Tiger Cats up in the Canadian Football League in hopes of playing his way back to the NFL one of these days. In a video posted by Barstool Sports president Dave Portnoy, Manziel had this to say.
I'm here today to make a big announcement for my life. I am formally signing in the CFL, number one. I have decided to sign with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'll be up here for what looks like 2 years. Getting back to playing ball, that's what it comes down to. It's what I've missed doing. I'm somewhere, I don't even know where, on the Canadian border, trying to figure this whole thing out and figure out, I guess, how to play football in Canada. Big day for me. I'm no longer unemployed. I'm getting back to what I want to do. And I'm happy about it.
Okay, not exactly the most confident and enthusiastic video announcing your signing to the CFL, but bizarre. Johnny, do what you got to do. Remember, he was selected 22nd overall in the 2014 NFL Draft and flamed out by age 25 with the Browns after a few unsuccessful seasons because of his field and obviously off-the-field issues, domestic violence issues, the diagnosis of being bipolar, substance abuse issues. So yes, Johnny is behind the 8 ball with his football career right now. He had the pro days at Texas A&M. He had the pro days at Texas A&M earlier this spring, and also played in the spring league again, trying to foster a comeback. But Johnny has signed with the Hamilton team that has 5 other quarterbacks on the roster. He has to compete with 5 quarterbacks to make the squad. So, question for you guys: is it a good move for Johnny to take his talents up to the CFL to try to resurrect his career and maybe one day get back to the NFL?
What other choices?
That was it. In an empty airport. Then you sign it. You didn't see no fans back there. You didn't see shit. Like no one cares. I personally don't. Like, all right, Johnny. Until they stop selling 8 balls. Man, Johnny would not be in the league until that day starts.
I honestly didn't mean to make that kind of reference, but I did, yes.
Boy, he ran with that. He ran with that.
I honestly did not mean to make that reference, but
I'm
yes,
just saying, as long as that stuff is out there for Johnny to get, I'm pretty sure Johnny's going to be in Canada for a while.
Well, I would hope that Johnny Manziel is clean these days, as he seems to be. It seems like he has his head on straight in that video we just saw, but why are you looking at me like that? What, just because he's at an empty airport or wherever he was at, just erase that. But like you mentioned, Cap, I think this is his only option. I don't think there was any other viable way for him to make his case to be back in the NFL. We know how it flamed out with the Cleveland Browns, and I think teams are scared of that. I think teams are also scared of the fact that he more than likely has to serve a 6-game suspension whenever he does sign with the NFL team, immediately off violation of the personal conduct policy because of his incident with the domestic violence in the Dallas area.
Look, if a team is going to sign him, they'd rather take him now at a younger age, hurry up, get the suspension over with, let's play football. I just don't think they're going to touch him.
I mean, if he was
good, you're going to touch him at 25. You're not going to touch him at 27.
If he was good enough to be in the NFL, he'd be in the NFL right now.
Exactly.
We know that. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to this move. It's pro because if he does make the squad and can actually get on the field and play, the CFL is a passing league. You have 3 downs up there. You have a wider field. It's made for quarterbacks just to chuck the ball because you kind of really have to. And also his coach in Hamilton, June Jones, has NFL experience, also experience running and gunning with SMU, and Hawaii back in the day. Plenty of the passing pedigree that he has with the teams that he runs is obviously good for quarterbacks. Yeah. But the bad is that, it's probably going to take him 2+ years to get back to the NFL. Insiders who talk about Johnny as prospects is like, well, yeah, if you go up to the CFL and ball out for 2 years and keep your nose clean and don't do anything stupid off the field, like maybe you'll get a look at you. So it's like, does he have the attention span to spend 2 years playing, the lesser quality football in the CFL? And also, he's never a guy that was known to study tape and all this other stuff. So it's like, there's reasons to doubt that Johnny would be successful up in Hamilton if he actually makes the roster and actually can be a starting quarterback.
I mean, but to Johnny's credit, he probably couldn't have gone to the worst, like a worse franchise in the NFL than the Cleveland Browns at that point in time. Because just thinking of this segment just now, I'm thinking of the first round pick since maybe 2012, right? You got Barkevious Mingo, not on the team. Justin Gilbert, not on the team. Johnny Manziel, not on the team. Trent Richardson, not on the team. That's just 4 first round picks right there. And 2 of those first round picks were in the same draft that included like Odell Beckham Jr. and Aaron Donald and Mike Evans. So Cleveland and Johnny Manziel was just a nightmare, and the fact that Josh Gordon lasted longer than Johnny Manziel is pretty ironic.
I mean, if he uses these 2 years to learn how to watch football, study football,
but is he?
But that's what I'm saying. If I don't know who he is personally, but if he uses the 2 years to learn how to watch film, study film, you're with a passing quarterback. I mean, passing coach. and just take this time to actually learn the game of football the way you don't know, then maybe you have a chance. But if you're going up there thinking what I do on the field is going to get you back in the NFL with the same fuck-ups you don't have.
You know what's also not changing?
What?
The fact that he's about 6'1" and 200 pounds.
Exactly.
And
he's a
the
fatty.
last time.
Oh, no, 200 pounds. Oh.
Yeah.
You said you called him a fatty?
Oh, I'm thinking too far, but I just seen him, right? That was
No, he's an undersized quarterback, and the last time we saw him on the field, he got pummeled by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He got hit so hard that he had to sit out practice and never played a game again in the NFL. So that's not changing. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, you're still athletic at 25. And when Johnny's doing his thing, he's like incredibly fun to watch. It's awesome, but like it's tough to sustain as you get older. And also, you know, you can kind of pull those shenanigans a little bit in the CFL with the lesser quality players up there, but you can't pull that again in the NFL.
And also his debut in the spring league in Austin earlier this year was not necessary. He wasn't tearing the league up. So maybe the NFL is like, you just go prove it up there. We'll wait.
Here he needs to go back a few steps. Learn film, learn what you need to do as a quarterback, and
But maybe being up in Canada in Hamilton, not exactly a hotbed of activity, I would think.
That's
would
good.
help him stay focused.
But didn't you say there's 5 quarterbacks on the roster already?
that's good.
Yes, there's 5 quarterbacks.
With competition?
I mean, just competition. You get that's what I'm saying. It's more of a like if I'm a GM, if I'm an owner or whatever, and I'm looking at Johnny, I know he doesn't know tape. He doesn't study this and this and this. If he cleans that up, that means he's serious. If he's serious, then I'm gonna give him a shot because his raw talent plus now he understands what football is and how to be great. I'll give that a shot.
Before we move on, I'm gonna give you a tidbit that should probably sober up how much that was a poor pun.
I made a bad one. You made a bad one. So
that was terrible. I guess the thing that shows how slim Johnny's chances are of returning to the NFL. There was a report last week that Kurt Warner was eyeing a comeback. He hasn't played since 2009, and he's been in the booth, and I believe he's in his mid to late 40s. If teams are interested in him over Johnny Manziel, that lets you know where his chances of returning to the NFL are. Yeah, and we need to work on our puns as we.
Y'all need to work on y'all puns.
We'll go back to the drawing board on that one.
I love how he's the voice of reason right now. He's like, y'all are terrible.
I can't believe
y'all are
it's an 8 ball.
I can't believe I said sober.
That was pretty bad, yeah.
Hey,
All right.
just don't say it around Johnny.
All right, switching back to basketball, is reportedly just a matter of time before Kansas City gets a new basketball team. So I guess expansion maybe is happening sometime in the NBA. Who knew? But that got us thinking, what other NBA cities, or cities I should say, are worthy of an NBA team? This is top 5. Okay, so on Friday, SEC Network's Jared Sutton tweeted out something kind of interesting that NBA exec reportedly told him, and the tweet was, quote, Kansas City will get an NBA team at some point. It's a real thing I've heard from multiple sources. Just a matter of time. Seattle and KC, to me, are most valuable markets for league expansion when it makes sense. Kansas City had an NBA team that was lost to Sacramento back in 1985, and obviously we know the Sonics, the beloved Sonics that a lot of us in the 80s and 90s grew up rooting for or, kind of falling in love with. They became the Oklahoma City Thunder after the 2008 season. So both of those cities have been missing NBA teams for a long, long time. But allegedly, if the league is thinking about expanding at some point, going to maybe 32 teams from 30 right now, those 2 cities appear to be top choices and top targets. Yeah. But let's throw out some other cities that we think deserve NBA franchises. Pierce, let's start with you.
So me and Gilbert Arenas had a nice little tussle in the green room about, we both had the same city, so I gave it to my guy because he had it first.
No, you got it.
I
go to another.
How about we co-opted, right? Together we said Oakland, since the Golden State Warriors are moving to San Francisco.
You want another team in the Bay Area?
Why not?
Why?
Because Oakland and San Francisco fans are totally different.
Totally different.
Well, I get that. Yes, the cities are very different. Yes, I get that.
Totally different.
Like, you know what? When it gets to San Francisco, I'm pretty sure they're going to cut that bridge off. We do not want no Oakland Raiders. We don't want no Oakland Golden State.
They're just going to block it. And also, like you mentioned, the Raiders are leaving. So the Raiders are leaving. The Oakland Athletics have threatened to leave if there's not a new stadium. So before you know it, the 3 franchises that were in Oakland could very well be gone. So it would be great to see them.
Oakland's one. What else? Who else?
NBA team.
Baltimore.
Woo. Former home of the Bolts.
Yes.
So why Baltimore?
I mean, that fan base is just still there.
Yeah.
I mean, D.C. has a fan base, but you got to remember, Baltimore, the back of Maryland,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're bigger fans.
And produces
They would
some great
support
talent.
more than the Wizards.
Yeah, because it's different fans.
Okay.
And I mean, like cities they're different. They're just different fans. So
yeah, even as close as Baltimore is to DC, they're just totally different.
because DC is homegrown here. When it comes to Baltimore, Baltimore is its own city with their own fan base, plus they get the back of Maryland.
What about Virginia? That's a hotbed for talent. Do you think Virginia would be a good place?
It depends what part of Virginia.
It's like if it's Richmond, it'll have to be the
Yeah,
capital.
it had
if
to
it's
be
Richmond,
Nah.
What NBA players are going to want to go play in Richmond?
Because you got to remember, Richmond's 3 hours away from D.C., so it's like that's a big. Because we used to hold our training camp there. It's a big. That's a far ass drive.
That's a big drive.
Far as fuck.
I've got 2 selections that should be added to this top 5 list. Vegas has to have an NBA franchise.
Yeah.
If you have a WNBA franchise in there already, an NHL franchise is about to go to the Stanley Cup in its inaugural season, and you have an NFL franchise coming in 2020, Vegas has to have an NBA franchise at some point. My other selection, definitely a curveball here. Mr. Former Pro Athlete, Mr. Former Pro NBA Player. Do NBA players enjoy strip clubs?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm
pretty sure all athletes.
All athletes.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm all male.
Why is he being modest? Like,
I just said pretty much 99% of males love strip clubs. So.
Then NBA players would love Montreal because in those strip clubs, anything goes down, allegedly. So Montreal should get an NBA franchise.
Listen,
just based on strip clubs.
listen. We're cool with Canada, but do you really want another city full of Drake fans?
That's
Yeah, but all right,
it's
so-
a
all right,
nation,
so-
man.
But do you
but Quebec-
really want another city
That's
that's
a good point, but Quebec's a little bit different than Ottawa and the other provinces.
Drake owns all that up there.
Yo,
all that is Drake. I'm sorry, like he's gonna have part of this franchise. He's gonna have part of that franchise. I mean,
Because my Canadian brothers and sisters did call you Mayo fuck.
like I'm just saying, do you really want? You don't want those
Good point,
problems.
that's a good point.
Mexico,
Mexico City?
anywhere in Mexico.
you know,
Mexico,
anywhere.
Like Tijuana?
nah, you don't want to
Like, yeah.
Nah,
Like Cancun?
Nah, there's gonna be pretty. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some.
Cancun basketball?
If Cancun got a franchise, that franchise would have an undefeated home record.
Easy. The players would just go off.
No visiting team would ever win.
No.
Stop! Cancun is popping in the summer.
Isn't it popping all time long? It's Mexico. Yeah,
No,
spring
I
break.
don't go down to
Popping all the
Mexico.
time.
When they kidnap people, I just
Okay.
decide I'm not just.
All right, but
So I think we're done here with that topic.
yeah, we're going to.
What? Y'all not worried about getting kidnapped?
You're the guy that wants a team there.
You don't think LeBron goes down there threatened to get kidnapped is not going to be an issue? Put it in Mexico City.
But listen,
Right under Arizona.
but in all seriousness, though, Kansas City does seem like a viable option. We have a lot of college basketball conference.
City.
Yeah. Kansas,
It's had an NBA team before.
It's had an NBA
also
team?
it's hotbed
Hold on.
for college basketball.
Hold on.
But why did you
Hold
look
on.
up like you could see Kansas City?
No, I'm looking at where the hell is Kansas City?
It's in Missouri.
It's in Missouri or Kansas. It's right on the border of each.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Somewhere nobody wants to go.
Okay. What about Seattle?
I'd rather play in Kansas City than Utah.
Fact.
Seattle. Was that a fun place to play?
Great.
Yeah. They deserve an NBA.
Watch this.
I mean, it rains all the time there. It fucks your shoes up, but you're cool.
You have to have a rainy pair of sneakers.
Yeah. Kansas City or Detroit, where would you rather play?
Well, technically, I wouldn't know. I don't know what the fuck
arena.
Missouri looks like. Pretty sure that's a shithole, too.
Wow. Okay.
Is that Ferguson? Give me Detroit. Give me Detroit.
Transition us out of this, please.
Give me Detroit. I'll take Detroit on this. I'll take the water.
Listen, here on Out of Bounds, you don't know what you can expect. We got Gilbert Arenas, the geography expert. He said, give me Detroit, I'll take the water. I don't, you know what? For Adam Caparell, Mr. Gilbert Arenas, I'm Pierce Simpson. We'll see you tomorrow. This is Out of Bounds.
Kansas City's not a bad town. I mean, I wouldn't want to spend a ton of time there, but like to go for a weekend, it's not that bad.
I mean, I would just.
You had to spend 6 months there.
I have not, yes. Yeah. So as an NBA player, I would not want to live there, but to go visit there for a weekend, to go play a basketball game or go see a game, it's not that bad.
See, I remember when like Instagram, Twitter started coming out, there was this big old Kansas City brawl, Missouri brawl in the club. Big bouncers knocking people out.
And that's what intrigues you?
I was like, oh Lord Jesus. Oh no, they was putting people to sleep. like shit. And then the Ferguson stuff. I'm cool.
There's barbecue.
But they try to
cool.
say it's the barbecue capital. That's Texas. So hand wave to Kansas City on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hand wave.
Excuse me.
Hand wave. Big hand wave to all the Kansas City people.
It's in Mexico City.
In Mexico City?
But you got Montezuma's revenge you have to deal with.
Yeah.
You drink the water down there. Can't drink the water in Detroit, can't drink the water in Mexico.
What's wrong with y'all today? Y'all are,
And the tainted meat.
losing.
And the tainted Mexican meat.
Yo, what's wrong with
So
y'all
NBA
today?
players, if there's a franchise in Mexico, can't eat any Mexican meat.
He said Detroit. It's in Flint. You can't drink the water. He said can't drink the water. Can't eat. You know what, man?